Hi, everybody. It's Yvonne DeVita and Dr. Larry McDaniel with another episode of Scratchins and Sniffins Out Loud. Larry, let's now talk about what happens when you have a dog or a cat that is pregnant. What are the nutritional requirements and the care that you should be giving them?
Okay. Well, first of all, the bitch, and when we refer to breeding pairs, the male dog is called the dog, and the female is called the bitch. So if you've got a pregnant bitch, you should make sure that she's just in good general health, that she's up to date on her vaccinations, which is particularly important.
If you find out she's pregnant and she isn't up to date, can you take her in to get them?
Oh, sure. She should be up to date on her vaccinations, because once she does whelp these puppies, and that's what we call giving birth, whelping, when she does that, she passes on her maternal antibodies and immunity to these puppies through the colostrum, the milk that they get in the first couple of days after they're born. So it's very important that her immunological status is up to date. And as far as nutrition goes, that's another important consideration related to the fact that they should be in good health. You don't want a bitch going into pregnancy either underweight or overweight. You want them going in, ideally, in really good body condition.
So I think if your bitch is pregnant, that you should take her to the vet.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that, it's like a prenatal visit that a woman would do, a pregnant woman. So I think it's a very good idea. So we want to make sure that they're in good condition. If they're in good condition, they can be fed a good quality adult diet for the first few weeks to month of pregnancy. I think in the second month of pregnancy, that's when the puppies in the uterus, are really growing in size. And I recommend during the second month and then through the first few weeks of lactation after the puppies are whelped, I recommend that the female or the bitch get a growth-type diet, a puppy food-type diet. It just makes sense. She's growing a litter of puppies inside her, so the extra nutrition that you have in a puppy diet can help with that. And then after the puppies are born, when she is in heavy lactation, say weeks 2 to 3 after the puppies are born, a female can burn 3 times her normal calories in one day, just due to the demands of lactation. So she may need to eat 3 times as much food just to maintain her weight. And it's easier if you have them on a diet that's higher in calories, like a puppy diet. So that's the general recommendation that I make for the last month of gestation when the puppies, before they're born, and then for the first month afterward during the heavy demands of lactation, high-calorie diet like a puppy food.
And so what is the recommendation now for weaning the pups?
Puppies will usually begin to start weaning, or the female will begin to wean them 3 to 4 weeks after they're born. What you can do to help this process along is you can take dry kibble, dry puppy food, and you can moisten it and kind of make a gruel out of it and put that out to the puppies, and they will gradually work their way over to eating that and depend less and less on the bitch for their source of nutrition. And by the time they're 4 to 5 weeks of age, 6 weeks of age, they should be fully weaned. So the process can really be helped if you provide them dry, moistened, gruel-like food. And the way you do that is you just add warm water, and kind of smash it up a little bit. So the puppies can, especially when they're 3 weeks of age, so they can eat it a little bit better. And then later on, when they're 4, 5, and 6 weeks of age, they can actually crunch dry kibble themselves.
And when are they available for you to adopt out?
Well, that's a great question. Ideally, you would adopt a puppy somewhere around 8 to 9 weeks of age. That's adequate time for them to have been in the litter, to have been with their mother. If they go out any earlier than that or later than that, they can have some developmental issues. The same with kittens. Kittens that are taken from their mothers, and we've mentioned this on the blog several times, if they're taken prematurely from their mothers, they don't learn a lot of inter-cat interactions. They don't know how to act around other cats. So a kitten that's taken too early, they can be a biter or a scratcher. They don't know how to modulate their play. They learn that stuff, and puppies learn that stuff by messing around with their litter mates and interacting with their mother. So that's why you want them to have some experience in the litter and with the mother before they go to your home. And ideally, around 8 to 9 weeks of age is a good time to adopt a puppy. It's probably better to adopt them later than earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It's really critical to have that good interaction with their litter mates and with their mother.
Right. And for cats, we didn't get into the care of the female cat while she's gestating.
You know, it's very similar to a dog. During the last trimester, and a cat's, by the way, a cat's reproductive gestation period is similar to a dog, 59 to 60 days typically for a litter of cats and or kittens. And during the last third of gestation is when those kittens put on most of their weight in utero. And then the queen, that's what we call a female breeding cat. She's called a queen. Mm-hmm. When she whelps the kittens, she has the same demands of lactation. So she should be fed a growth-type diet during that last third of gestation and then during lactation, just so she can get more calories into her system. Because that milk production, especially that milk production in weeks 2 to 3 after birth, the demands are really huge, really heavy. So wow. A good high-calorie kitten food would be an ideal recommendation for a queen.
Excellent. One thing that I've been wondering is, as far as the breeding, and the breeding cycle, you mentioned that dogs do it approximately twice a year, and we said cats will ovulate when they're bred. Are there particular times of the year, though, that these things happen? In other words, it seems to me that my local humane society has an influx of a whole bunch of kittens in the spring.
The estrus cycles are somewhat related to, diurnal variation, or the amount of sunlight that we typically see. So the days start to get longer in the late winter, early spring, that dogs, or that bitches and queens would come into an estrus period. And then, they'll come in one more time during the year, typically 4 to 6 months after that. So I think that's why you see a lot of puppies born in the spring in the northern hemisphere.
Interesting. Yeah, I've always wondered about that, and I never could remember what we learned about it in veterinary assistant school. But it's important to know that, as we said, keeping them indoors, proper care, take them to the vet if you think that they're pregnant, and then basically being a responsible pet parent really gets you in a good place and enables the kittens and the puppies to be healthy so they can find good homes. How many kittens and puppies do breeds usually have? Does that depend on the size or the breed of the animal?
It can vary. You can have large dogs that have 3 puppies, and it can vary by the age of the bitch or the queen. Younger animals typically have smaller litters, but it's not uncommon for a queen to have 4 to 6 kittens. I've seen litters of 10 to 12 puppies in some dogs, but
yeah.
It can vary between bitches and queens of the same breed, the numbers of puppies and kittens that they have. And it is possible, this is another interesting thing, it is possible for a bitch to be, or a queen, to be bred by 2 different dogs during a heat cycle. And that would be uncommon in somebody who's planning a pregnancy or who's planning to breed their dog. That would be a dog that probably is not very well cared for, and a female that's out running loose. So that happens less and less and less, but it is possible.
Well, I think we covered most of the basics. If anybody out there listening has questions that we didn't answer, please come to the blog and leave us a comment, and we will do our best to answer your questions. Dr. Larry, thank you for your time today, and let's do this again real soon.
Okay.
Bye-bye.